Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad to be with you today, and I want to thank you for the work that you do every single day to support our neighbors in need. I know it's a busy time, and I thank you for choosing to spend 30 minutes to learn about our new program. For those of you who may not know, the Arch um, Acadiana Regional Coalition on Homelessness and Housing has been around in some form since the late 1980s, but we've been meeting regularly since 1995, and we submitted our first HUD application in 1997. Our original role was to lead the Louisiana 500 Continuum of Care, and while that remains core to who we are, our work has expanded and adapted based on what our region needs most. We've always aimed to be more than a convener, but we're also a gap filler. We lead the continuum of care across 8 parishes: Acadia, Evangeline, Iberia, Lafayette, St. Landry, St. Martin, St. Mary, and Vermilion. We've also co founded the Acadiana Housing Alliance in 2019, and we serve as the administrative backbone for that cross sector effort. And like many of you, the COVID-19 pandemic pushed us to do more. In 2020, Arch began providing direct services for the first time through a temporary 2-year response called Project Keystone. And that work expanded rapidly. We created Share House. We helped launch additional programs like Fresh Start and a special emergency solutions grant rapid rehousing response to a local apartment complex that closed. And we grew our staff from 1 to over 2 dozen. Today, with a streamlined staff of 7, Arch is still leading the COC. We're still supporting Share House, managing the housing voucher program through an MOU with the Lafayette Housing Authority, developing growing relationships with our other parish housing authorities, and we're offering SOAR assistance, which is helping clients access SSA disability benefits. We also answer dozens of direct crisis calls every day. And that's what brings us to HoldFast. Since the pandemic began, Arch has sheltered and housed thousands of individuals and redistributed over $250,000 in household goods, which is according to the Goodwill Valuation Guide. But increasingly, we're hearing from households who aren't necessarily experiencing homelessness yet, but they're in crisis and they're trying desperately to hold on. These households are navigating a wide range of challenges: the inability to find an affordable rental, the need for increased income, issues with a landlord, the need for household goods or help moving, or support in other areas. We also receive calls from property owners and managers who are looking to connect with potential tenants at their price points, or who have current tenants facing instability and they're calling on behalf of their tenants who need support. While our community has considered shelter solutions, traditional housing counseling, and even homeownership pipelines, we've seen a growing need for support in the rental housing space, and that's a need that's gone largely unanswered. When we think about the housing continuum, we've left a gap. We've not adequately addressed the precariously housed, people who are still in housing, but whose situations are clearly unstable. Service providers, many of you who may be joining and listening to this call, are often asked to step in. Shelters are housing people who could perhaps move out if extra navigation support were available. Home ownership programs are being asked to assist renters who are nowhere near ready to buy. And we don't yet have a formal renter registry or pathway to connect landlords with prospective tenants. And that's where HoldFast comes in to fill these gaps. Arch is uniquely positioned. We're already by function and mission a connector, and we have the staff and systems to do this work, we can direct requests for support to the appropriate place, follow appropriate clients through their crises, and help free you up to focus on what you do best. Clients tell us over and over again, wraparound services matter. Housing plus problem solving, plus resources, plus follow up is what makes people thrive. With Arch serving as a housing support hub, we can all work even more effectively together. A quick note about the name. During a storm, sailors are told to hold fast, meaning hold tight, hang on, and secure the ropes and rigging, which is the theme of the work that we are doing. Over the past few months, we've done the quiet work of getting ready. We've finalized our planning and completed a soft launch of HoldFast. We've hired initial staff, began training, and built out our workflows. We really have a crackerjack team, years of case management experience with resource management, working in systems, creating workflows. In particular, Rachel Hayden moved from Sharehouse Director to Director of Housing Stability Services. Leo Mesa Juarez joined us several months ago with a strong background in mutual aid and resource mapping and navigation. In addition, we have Kara Baque administering the grant as well as helping callers connect with HoldFast, and Carla Trahan, who has been our source specialist for some time. We've started piloting services and integrating feedback from early users, and we're now formally launching HoldFast to our community. And today is about you, our nonprofit partners. You've been key collaborators in everything we've done, and this program is no different, and we cannot do it without you. This is your invitation to connect, to partner, refer, and inform the direction of this work. So, what does the program include? HoldFast provides intensive, individualized stabilization services for people at risk of homelessness. So, some key features include housing navigation and guided access to a deeply affordable housing availability database and mapping, as well as application process assistance, telling prospective renters what to keep an eye out for, etc. Shelter navigation for those needing immediate emergency homeless services help. Case management for households who are housed and need assistance to maintain housing, including income development, such as access to SOAR or workforce development opportunities. Continued development of relationships with property owners and managers. Renter readiness classes. Facilitation and mediation services between property owners and managers and tenants. Coordination with a network of resources that offer legal services related to eviction proceedings, utility and rental payment support, and other specialized services. Referrals and coordinations with services that are adjacent to housing, but very much connected, food resources, outpatient healthcare, substance abuse recovery, and then expanded access to Arch Sharehouse for general household needs, even without a direct referral from a partner agency. HoldFast is about preventing homelessness before it happens and relieving pressure from our continuum of care. And in this case, I consider you all as servicing that continuum by providing timely, targeted help to keep people stably housed. By piloting this program and supporting both renters in need and property owners, especially smaller local landlords, we're addressing the needs of those in poverty and the ALICE population. The economic ripple effect is meaningful. Stably housed tenants, filled rental units, and a continuum that's less burdened by navigating these gaps on their own. When someone has stable housing, they're more likely to succeed at everything, health, employment, education, recovery. And we know that housing instability is a traumatic experience, especially for children. Preventing homelessness is a way to prevent trauma. So, how are we including property owners and managers? A key part of this work is building stronger relationships with the people who hold the keys, literally. We have and are actively recruiting property owners and managers to work with us through listings, mediation, and engagement. And your role is essential. If you have landlord relationships we can connect with, we'd love to hear from you. Or you can ask them to reach out to us. We do offer orientations about the HoldFast program, but for those of you who are curious, this is the form on your screen that populates a database that we can search and annotate on our end. And it also populates a map that you can also see on the screen so that we can search geographically. If a client would like to live closer to family or work or on a bus route, we can identify those available properties. Also, the property owner or manager receives a unique URL when they list a property so that they can go in and take their properties on and offline or edit any fields that may change. Here's how you can get involved. One, refer clients. And there's two ways to do that. You can let someone who's reaching out to your agency know that they can call the main line at Arch at 337-399-2559. We have scripts and call flows that will direct them to the appropriate staff member as we move through the conversation with them. Or you, as a referring agency, can email Rachel Hayden, our Director of Housing Stability Services, a client referral, and she'll reach out directly to your client. Secondly, you can give feedback. Let us know how HoldFast is fitting into the bigger picture. Are there things that we need to consider tweaking, adding? Help us build pathways. Let's collaborate on co-located or coordinated services. They're really interesting conversations that we're already having about how HoldFast can play a role in your organization at your location. So let's ideate or become an official partner. If you're interested in a more formalized, deeper partnership with HoldFast, please reach out to me at elsa@archacadiana.org. We're going to continue to host learning sessions, but also feedback sessions as the program evolves. So I want to thank you all again, not just for being here, but for your trust and your partnership. HoldFast is rooted in prevention, stabilization, and collaboration, and your involvement is key. We're ready, we're excited, and we want to build this with you. So please reach out to us. On your screen, you'll see my email address, elsa@archacadiana.org, or our Director of Housing Stability Services, Rachel Hayden, which is rachel@archacadiana.org. Thank you so much, and please reach out.